Hi, everybody. It's Katarina, aka Let You Sid, bringing you Four Letter Nerd by Hierogeekix Unlimited. Joining me tonight is our most famous and amazing panel of all time, Mayhem, Reggie, Ness. Please join me as we discuss science fiction films. Um, before we begin, because there's a little bit of a debate of this, what constitutes science fiction?
Science.
Well, yes, science, but it's got to be in the future-ish, kind of, but not kind of. It's difficult.
There has to be a ship.
There has to be a ship. Get out of here, because then hero movies. Anyway, first of all, we're very sorry to our we're very sorry to our Twitter fan, to our Twitch fans. You can't see us for some reason. We're working on that, but you can't say it has to be a ship because comic book superheroes aren't necessarily science fiction. It's fantasy. Now it's borderline sci-fi, but it's fantasy, and a lot of them have ships. Wonder Woman has a ship. The Justice League of America has a ship. That one that orbits. I'm tired of you already. I think
I got him going.
At this point, just like to point out that no matter what happens, we're all going to be friends, right?
No, no.
Are we?
Trash.
Do you hear this? Do you hear this?
All right. I know this isn't going to settle anything, but according to the interweb, science fiction is a genre of fiction in which the stories often tell about science and technology of the future. It is important to note that science fiction has a relationship with the principles of science. These stories involve partially true, partially fictitious laws or theories of science. Now, there are certain things like Dune and Star Wars that people make the argument is not science fiction, it's space opera. But if anyone brought any of those to the table today, I'm perfectly okay with it. Although if it says in the future and Star Wars was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that means it's in the past.
Technically, that's not necessarily true because the way time travels through space, it may be in the long time ago for them, but in the future, by the time it gets back to us.
Right.
They do have hyperspeed.
So what you're saying is it's all wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, because I'll give you a great example, something that you should consider. Well, one of my picks kind of talks about this in a sense, but it's like, I'm 35 now, but I'll be 35 when I go into space, however long it takes, hopefully not more than a year, right? But by the time I come back, I'll still be 35, but it may be more time that passed on Earth than the time it takes for me to come back. So then it's like I'm 35 on Earth years, but I may be 37 space years or 34 space years actually going back.
So we're getting into a little bit of interstellarship right now. So let's since Mayhem has already started with his Coke and whatever else is in that cup that we're not going to talk about.
What's in my cup? They don't promote us.
Why don't you lead the charge and give us your top 3 sci-fi films, which I know you have more than 3, but let's roll with it.
All right. To the opera conductor, can we start with the top 3 worst of all time?
You want your worst?
3 worst?
Worst?
Oh, you know what? Sorry. 3 best. And then I will start with the best.
That wasn't even the assignment.
Yes,
You're
it
doing
was.
Extra. You were doing extra credit.
It was top 3 worst and top best.
No, top 3 best and then 1 best worst. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. He did extra credit. Let him go.
His worst is what we are going to say. Our 3 worst.
Why don't you just give us what they are and we'll try to pick which were the 3 best and the 3 worst.
All right. So let's start off whenever you're ready, opera conductor, maestro.
Oh, my goodness.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Armageddon was the worst.
You're not sponsored. We're not
So check this out. Check this out.
Snaps.
They trained astronauts to dig rather than training diggers to be in space. It was weird. No, actually, it was the reverse. It was weird.
I was like, you said that
worse.
backwards.
It was worse. Sorry.
They said it would be easier. They explained it in the film.
That's a lie. People in space would know how to, anyway, this was the worst movie of all time. Bruce Willis was just out here trying to cop feels in America fashion. Okay, let's go to the next one. I still don't, and then we still get hit. Next one. That's not the worst one. That's one of my best. Next
you
one.
didn't give these to me in order. Then, oh my good sir.
That's okay. We're going along for the ride. We're not even questioning it.
Alien was.
I like Alien.
my second best. When the movie came out with Sigourney Weaver, what was it, Jane Cameron, I believe, that directed this. It was amazing. Xenomorph lived on. It spawned so much things. It wasn't necessarily that the creature was
Ridley Scott.
invincible. Ridley Scott, thank you very much. Because Jim Cameron did the second one, if I'm not mistaken, Aliens. It was that the fact that the horror suspense that they were getting taken down, and we didn't find out about the digestive station. It was just amazing. This is a classic. Sigourney Weaver earned the title of Sci-Fi Queen just because of this movie, and the movie's therefore. Next
I face
one.
my ladies because of her. Strong.
I don't know what.
How
to
did I
say
know
to
this
that.
was going to be one of them?
Interstellar was so amazing because it attempted
I
to
still haven't seen it.
simplify the complexity of time-space continuum.
You
Actual
haven't seen it?
science, ships, okay, future, and more science. And it was an amazing story, I think, honestly.
So was that ships? You said ships. I just
Yes.
wanted to point out.
Yes,
you said ships.
I
Okay.
definitely
All right. I just
catered
want to
to
make
you.
sure.
That's shit.
But
I
it
was just,
dealt with
you know,
science, and it wasn't
just
with
wanted
the
to check.
hero that was fantasy. Okay, you
Okay.
know what?
Well, it takes science to build machines, but I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
I'm
one
just saying.
Oh wow, we lost him. That's crazy. I
Oh,
wonder
no.
how that happened.
How dare you, sir?
Next one, please.
Wow, we just going
I
in
would love
today.
I would love for us to get through one without chaos, but baby steps. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's
Rise
asking a lot.
of the Planet of the Apes. Now, the
AKA karma.
Yes.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes was
This
amazing.
is true.
It dealt with it. First of all, it was reimagined from all the Rise of the Apes that previously came. It actually dealt with science. It was just an amazing movie that really dealt with sci-fi, and it made what was a horrible movie into a great one. I love the story. I love Caesar. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how an animal kind of, as close to human as possible, if you believe in that, kind of portrayed a lot of human characteristics once having the intelligence to be, I think, therefore I am. It was amazing. Rise, and then it was Dawn, and then War. These were all really great movies, if you ask me personally. Great sci-fi backing it, even the disease that came later. It was just amazing. Let's go to the next one.
Oh.
Her, Joaquin Phoenix, and what's her face? Scarlett Johansson. Let me tell you that if anybody ever doubts Joaquin Phoenix, you are mad.
Yeah.
You are mad.
He's crazy
He
talented.
is a crazy talented actor. And I dare say this is the second, if not third movie where Scarlett Johansson wasn't necessarily on screen, but her voice acting outshone her physical performance. Okay. This movie, this gentleman goes through a breakup and he falls in love with an AI system. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I fell in love with their romance. And I'm not a romancy guy. It's an amazing, beautiful love story. A little bit on far going as far as like what will happen in the future with us and coming technology. All sci-fi related. Beautiful. Best sci-fi movie because it wasn't just we're going to the future or we're going to shoot aliens. Pew, 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 pew. Lasers. No, it was just AI. And it was amazing. Non-Terminator. Next.
I mean, there was also AI, which was about
I just said that.
AI. I'm just saying, you said it was about AI and not robots and aliens, but AI was also just.
I just
AI.
said that. Where is
All
the
right,
remote
next.
button?
Okay, thank you. The
Inception.
two of you.
The Inception was amazing. A lot of people didn't like this movie for whatever reason. I think it's because of the end. We didn't know if he got out or whatnot. I say he got out because it wobbled, but it was meant to be ambiguous. But it's just that how complex the mind is. It was amazing. The sci-fi, the graphics, the possibilities. It was amazing. Leonardo DiCaprio, yet again. I mean, he had a great cast to follow him, but just give that man all the awards and then the checks. Let's go on to the next one, please.
Also, this one, even though I've not seen it, I've seen all the memes and all the behind the scenes on it. And just from that stuff, it's an amazing movie. Yeah. You heard me. You heard me. I said it. What? Talk about your movie.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Thank you.
Another serious role by Jim Carrey that was amazing. This deals with another mind machine like Inception. However, this is all about trying to forget and how complex the brain is and how fate kind of woves into it, destiny. It was amazing. If you've ever seen Memento, this is kind of like that, but instead of going backwards, it's just filling in the gaps, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, watch the movie. You'll thank me later. Amazing movie. This borderline sci-fi fantasy in a sense, but it was still beautiful. Next movie. Oh my God, The Thing. Let me tell you something about this.
But sir, back up. Sir, back up.
This movie I think came out in 1985. I didn't see this movie maybe until like 2018, something like that, 2017.
I'm so jelly.
This movie is amazing. There are two
82.
things you need to know about this. 82, excuse me. Thank you very much for looking that up. Two things you need to know about this movie. Number one, you're gonna watch it and be confused as hell. Number two, you're still gonna enjoy it. There are people who literally spent Reddit users who spent literally their lives dissecting this movie. I won't give it away, but I will tell you this: The Thing follows the Body Snatcher's tale, where an alien was crash landed into Earth. It was frozen in the Arctic. Team Science finds it and they're like, great discovery, yeah. Then they find out it kills and assimilates them. And it doesn't just assimilate them. So now there's, I got 2 arms and 2 legs. Yeah, so like this arm can become a totally different person once it detaches from my body. And they said in a couple of days it will take over Earth. That's how bad this thing was. Now, obviously, you had Kurt Russell, who I think should have played Nick Fury in the next phase of Marvel, honestly. But whatever. He looks like him. Come on.
The Hoff kind of sort of ruined that version of Nick Fury. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Am I talking to the meme guy who saw Inception?
Oh my goodness.
So anywho,
stay focused, guys. We're almost there.
Acting because it talks about how you could ease how like paranoia runs rampant. Now they did come out with The Thing. I think it was called like 2000 whatever. That's the prequel. So how it begins, it actually explains out how it got to that point. Not gonna ruin anything. Great sci-fi movie. Next one. And it was a ship. Gravity was one of the worst ones. Oh my God, this girl had Bruce Willis tether, and he's like, let me go so I can fly on space. There's no gravity.
Was it George Clooney?
Whatever.
Clooney.
They're all the same.
I never seen
Clooney Willis.
But I know who's in the damn movie.
I'm just gonna call back to what's in that cup, Mayhem.
Yeah, no.
What's in that cup?
George Clooney deserves to be called by his name and not confused by Bruce Willis.
Those are great picks, Marcus, by the way. Thank you for sharing them.
Thank you. Gravity just didn't make it. It's like a really good movie when you watch it the first time, and I think that's what they kind of banked on. But then when you start putting two together, like this doesn't make any
none
sense
of the
whatsoever.
Science in the movie worked. I watched this movie, like you said, you watch it the first time, you're like, oh yeah, this is great, and then you sit down, you're like, wait, that's not how that works. No, if you would have just done, everyone would still be alive.
It's like that guy that shows you the calculator. And he's like, look, I made it. He spelled boobies. And you're like, oh, that's cool. And then we got a test. I need the calculator. And he goes, but boobies. And it's just like, this doesn't help me in any sort of way. Next, please.
I thought you had 6. What is this?
Oh, he lied.
He's going down the line.
Alien versus Predator. Hey, something, okay? I've read the books, okay? This was the worst. No, I'm sorry. This was the first worst. The second worst was Alien versus Predator Requiem. The third worst was Predator Prey. The third Predator movie. The Predators, whatever. Yeah, oh my God, what were you doing? It didn't make any sense. It was sci-fi. There was ships, alien races, future technology, and what was the main character of Alien versus Predator? What's her name?
It was the chick. Oh, what was her name? That's how bad this movie was. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I think I got one more, and that's it. Did I got one more?
You got one more.
Next.
It's there for you.
When I started this list, immediately this came to mind. Immediately. I was hyped to see this on Netflix.
We all were.
This was one of the worst trash movies of all time. The most interesting character in this movie was Sandy the Centaur. If you watch this movie about 10 to 15 minutes, there's a centaur on the police SWAT force. And I was like, that guy is the most amazing character. Because I don't understand what this was. This was fairy tale and sci-fi all mixed in, and it was trash. It was trash. I don't know what you were going for, Will, but you needed way more direction. But you know what? At least you tried. Those have been my picks. I stand by what I said, and I said what I said when I said it. Thank you.
All right.
Urgy.
Sir. Sir.
Virgie, what's up, Virgie? What's happening,
Bergie,
baby?
you are not wrong. That is an
That is a
awful,
terrible movie.
an awful movie.
And a
Yes.
bad book.
Yes.
It's a bad book. It's
And
an evil
religion, if we're gonna.
movie.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
So, moving on.
I mean,
This man
who's
watched
gonna be
Inception
the
through
top back?
memes. Through
Okay.
memes. Through
Okay.
memes.
Yeah, I said
Okay.
it. I said it. Get over
Hey,
it.
and you said the science team. I'm not even touching that, but it was funny as hell when you said it. So next,
I love this.
Nest, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah.
All
I'm,
right,
I'm
let's
happy
go.
to knock it out. All right. My first pick of the evening.
One moment.
All right.
All right, all the picks.
We just talked about it. I know, but I only
Just
picked
say.
it because it made a huge impact
Buddy.
in my life. Like everybody. This is where it steered my direction towards sci-fi, towards ships, because there's ships in this one,
Yep, they're ships.
and more ships. But I love this one. This one was my number one, New Hope. Just gonna say it. Next one, please.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Let me. There we go. Go ahead.
Ah!
If there was an
ahead.
eject button that I could press, I would have pressed it already. Go
I
ahead.
think he has an eject button. He can inject. Eject.
Inject.
let the man like what he likes, and let's move on to the next one. Keep sipping.
Yes.
Number
All right,
those.
so I was unable to get your update into this, but I have the original list. So here we go on your original list.
Okie doke. Back to the Future. I grew up with it as well. Another kick in the sci-fi direction with Doc and Marty, and then the car is essentially a ship. So
It
ship
is.
with
It's a
wheels.
ship.
It's not a ship. It's
It's a ship.
It flies.
It does fly.
Got a cover conversion.
no. It moves the matter. Okay.
What?
And it's got
What?
wings.
What?
I've been silenced by my manager, but it does not fly. What happens is it moves the matter and object around it, reality around it, to make it seem like that it's flying, but it's moving through
Wrong
time.
time machine. Wrong time
No,
machine.
Back to the Future does not fly. So if that's the case, why didn't
Wrong
it fly?
time machine. Wrong time.
You know what?
Wrong time
You know
machine.
what? You know
This
what?
one moves and flies.
No, it does not.
You're thinking of the original, the time machine.
No.
Yeah,
You know
That one
what?
just sits still.
You know what?
Yes.
I don't.
What?
Gentlemen,
Part 2, it flies. That's movie magic. That's movie magic, and it doesn't count.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
the whole point.
Thank you, sir.
well, it's actually flying at the end of the first one.
And it is.
That doesn't count. Whatever happens at the end doesn't count. We know this from Hollywood. You know what?
No,
You're right.
what?
You're right. You're right. I need to.
Robert
I need to fall back.
Zemeckis,
I need to
great.
fall back.
Lightning
Yeah.
in a bottle. I mean, a lot of stuff stemmed from this movie. Just saying. Next one, please.
Let's move on.
T2.
Excellent movie.
I have nothing bad to say about
Mayhem. Oh,
Wow.
he looks so mad about it
He
too.
did. I've got
I
nothing.
rolled it out. She left.
Yeah, he
Okay. Ness, please continue.
Terminator 2. So to get deep and kind of quick, summarize my life. No pops in my life. Didn't grow up with one. I salvaged my family's, whatever. T2 was like the representation of a father I never had. So I bawled like a child at the very end of this movie. And it impacted me so deeply by the way the kid was behaving with Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, his mother's relationship, and then just, I don't know, T1000 is just ruthless. Just
T1000.
ruthless. Woo!
Mia, I don't understand what happened either, but I think Ness is trying to tell us he would be pro Skynet. He'd be the one to turn us all in.
That
Look,
is not.
Okay, yeah, no problem. T100. Yeah. Okay.
Listen. As long as you're polite to whatever you interact with, whether it be the GPS on your phone, Siri, whatever it is,
microwave.
you'll be okay. Just say please and thank you, and don't yell at it, and don't get snotty. Because when the time comes, some of us are going to be okay, and some of us may
They
not be
might-
as okay.
Wow. This.
I'm
is-
just
not be.
saying, treat your electronic devices like they're Decepticons. Okay.
I say hello to my thing. I say hello
Wait,
to
why would I treat it
Google.
like a Decepticon? They're
Knowing
bad.
that it's bad, so tread lightly.
Oh.
You're talking to a guy who watched the movie through memes.
Just that one. So it's all good. I've seen all the rest of them, so it's okay.
Okay.
So next one. Also picked Interstellar. Also hit me deep because child was overseas, away, and growing up. I don't know. I saw it in IMAX and it just blew me away. I mean,
It's
Anaheim
visually beautiful film as well, so I get that.
golly, so good. Next one. Also picked The Thing. When I saw this for the first time.
What? Did you just copy my list?
No! How was I supposed to? I
hear
just
it.
saw your list for the first time.
So anyway, everybody, we're just gonna
Mayhem,
skip
bring
over
him
that.
back right now.
Here.
Oh, he's kicking me out. I'm just trying to talk about the movie. Now, the thing is,
He's literally agreeing with you.
I don't want his agreement.
You're gonna
That's-
get it no matter what.
Just keep going. You watched The Thing. It was very impactful. Please go on.
love it. I love the game. It was close to being something I really enjoyed. If anybody played the game,
I agree. Sadly,
yep.
Look at this hater.
And same thing with the other film before this one. Just reeling it into this guy. I did enjoy that one as well. So I'm just gonna say that and just move on to the next one.
Okay.
So yeah.
Fantastic.
So only because cybernetics I really enjoy, robotics I enjoy, stop motion animation I enjoy, and just the I don't know what just you could touch it. Basically, you could touch it. Everything in there was just touchable. You could.
Would you buy it for $1?
I would buy that for $1. It's and I got to I got to talk to the guy, so he was really cool. So next one. This is just one of my classics. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's batteries not included. Just little.
You ever want to see robots give birth?
Yeah, watch this movie. They know how to do it.
So cute.
I grew up with this movie. I wanted a little robot dude. I always made little tiny figurines of trying to make stuff, and because of this movie, I think that's where my tinkering came from.
That was
Next one.
Such
you know what? A better sci-fi movie based on your standards. Indie in the Cupboard. Yeah.
That's fantasy, not sci-fi.
Shut your face. I'm not talking to you.
Yeah,
Meme God. I'm not talking to you, Meme God.
Yeah, that's right. Meme God is right. Meme God. Change my name. I'm Raw Meme God now. What? What?
And I'm Laurie Salt. Whatever.
If you three don't calm down, I will turn this car around and we will go back home.
But I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. I need to pee.
Let the man talk about whatever Turbo Kid is, because that looks not great.
So
I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't look great.
if you haven't seen it, Turbo Kid throws back all the goodies from the 80s, 90s, and just all kinds of oodles and boodles. It's funny, it's ridiculous, but then cool. It's got some dope little music in there, and the characters are really enjoyed. There's one character in there, I think her name was Apple. That was pretty nuts. I think you'll enjoy her.
Mayhem, absolutely. Lowry Salt.
I would like to say, I think collectively we can agree to not let Ness ever pick any movies for us.
No, that's not.
He could be
absolutely not.
He could be, yeah, exactly.
He picked a few that you picked as well.
Honestly, I feel like he cheated. So you know what? In the back,
I'm the only one that can see everyone's list.
No.
Allegedly, I feel like you helped him out. Allegedly, so
yeah,
Ness,
I was like, hey,
Ness,
okay,
you're like,
let's focus our cheese. Ness, is that your list?
I think I got maybe a couple more, one more. Okay. Sunshine. If anybody hasn't seen this, I recommend it. It's pretty on the level. Just gonna save Earth, restart the sun. Really cool cast, really good setup, and nice intensity. I like the intensity.
Is this the one where they used a big mirror or something like that?
So it essentially looked like a giant satellite. but
Yeah.
they reflected the rays of the sun so they wouldn't burn up in space.
Yeah, this was trash.
Any wrong?
This was trash. No, this movie was trash. I'm sorry, Ness. You're getting the axe.
Oh.
I mean,
Okay,
I
next.
just
Hey, pass
Next.
me the dope
Is
on
that
the
is that let the man speak. Let the man
There you
speak.
so. This one's one of my best worsts. If anybody hasn't seen or heard of Zombie S, Toilet of the Dead.
both.
This pops
It's
up
very
on all
weird.
the Japanese weird movie scenes
Everything.
every single time. This man's got his adobo and his Lowry's. Look at him. Look at him. Those are not marimbas. Stop it.
You hear that? This is
Anyways, anyways, Ness, is there anything else that you would like to say about this film?
If you're feeling weird and you're bored and it's late night, 2 a.m, maybe 3, pop this movie on and you're on for a nocturnal
You're in
ride.
for a trip.
That is
What?
such a specific set of
What?
criteria to
Yeah.
enjoy this.
Sir, you realize we used to watch BET Uncut late at night, and you just come with this?
Yeah. I watch some
Yeah.
beavers.
I
I'll
wasn't
watch
able to
anything.
watch BET. My mom always came up and she's like, "What are you watching?" I don't nothing. I'm not watching anything. I'm
You
just
never saw
watching
Tim Drill?
cartoons.
He doesn't need seasonings, Bergie. He's salty enough all on his
Yeah,
own.
he is.
And that's for my selection.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
Sure.
You
You're
were
welcome.
stuttered
Ah.
along the way,
Yeah.
sir.
When you choose trash, connection
I need
kind
to-
of goes with it. You know what I'm saying?
So, meme god, would you like to go next?
I would love to go next. Thank
All
you.
right.
So, don't look at this one. This one ain't it. This is the alternate remake of my number one right, here.
Oh wow.
So this is the remake. I enjoyed the remake, but I enjoyed the original better. Like
Yes.
this right here is sci-fi at its best to me in this movie. Like
At its best? At its
some-
best.
Add
its
some of its best. Yes, add some of it. Look, what's that say right there? It says Lowry salt. Lowry's. So take that salt, get over that way.
I
Yes.
think it's in his cup. He just had a little bit.
Okay.
We are not getting invited to any sci-fi committee because of you guys, really, so far. 'Cause
Oh my God. We're getting
y'all are
invited.
trash.
We're
Y'all are
Leave
trash.
me out of this.
Y'all are
You
trash.
might not.
Me
You're
out
right,
of
Kat.
this.
You have
Like,
yet to
no.
go. There may be a redeeming quality, but you, sir, you know what? That's cool. I'll take the hater on it. Y'all, I think we need to go over what sci-fi is and what good is. Good. But whatever. It's your
Good
personal
is
pick.
subjective.
Whatever.
Wow.
Participation trophies
Yeah.
are awarded. Go ahead.
Subjective. But yeah, this to me is quintessential science fiction. This is how it works.
Quintessential. Use the big word.
Yes,
for horrible
use
movie.
the big word. What up?
You
What
picked RoboCop too?
It's RoboCop. Yeah.
For its day, maybe, but the best one, Marcus, you are invited to my cookout. Marcus, I got you a plate.
And
Yeah.
his food will be well seasoned because
Yes,
Well,
he will.
you saw it.
Yes,
I won't
You
even
saw.
season. I'll get a professional.
No. He just has to put
Anyway.
it between his hands and then just season it.
Oh,
Put $1 in the swear jar.
That's the new. If I use big words, I got to put $1 in the swear jar.
all right. Let the man
Oh,
speak.
yes.
RoboCop.
This when I saw this was like just what I shouldn't have seen this movie when I saw this movie. Basically,
Exactly right. Right.
It was rated R. I was not of rated R age, but guess what? We had HBO and it came on, and my cousins watched it. We watched it, and this movie just blew me out the way. And dude, I'm sorry, Ed 209 is one of my favorite characters. I'm just saying. He's like, hey, guess what? Put the gun down or I'm gonna shoot you. All right, cool. I put the gun down. I said, put the gun down, sir. Robot, the gun is down. I'm gonna shoot you now. Because know, it shows you how certain things happen even in this day, and they could predict it in the future.
So I have a question that's serious.
Yes.
Do you like the first RoboCop or the remake that they made?
There is no remake. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
There's only 3 RoboCop movies, of which one is good, one is mediocre, and I don't know what the hell they're doing with RoboCop 3 at all. At all.
So you're not going to talk about the RoboCop that was further along in our lives, that remake of this movie?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Just like there's only one Matrix movie, there's only 3 RoboCop movies.
Okay,
Okay.
next.
and I'm gonna buy it for $1. And
Oh
I
my God, they live.
love this movie. Love this movie. I quote this
2014.
all the time. Sir, I don't know what you're talking about. What happened?
Michael Keaton was in it.
Like I said, they live. This is just one of the best, most quoted, over-the-top science fiction movies ever. And it just basically, if you didn't get the subliminal message of the greed of the 80s from this movie, there's something wrong and you're probably part of the problem. Basically, it was saying we were being conditioned by aliens to just consume. So that way it would make it easier for them to take over and integrate themselves into our world. And well, they did. And man, yeah, you had to have special glasses to see him. The fight scene in the alleyway, the ending of the broadcast. Yeah, it was all good. This was my jam right here.
Came here to chew gum and kick.
I've come here to do two things: chew bubble gum and kick ass. Oh, and I'm all out of bubble.
Wasn't there a take names, chew bubblegum kind of? You know what? Whatever. None of my business.
What? Anyway,
Moving
Anyway,
on. Moving
hey,
on.
and this is my
I
Oh,
should have put that in there too.
nice.
Yeah,
I thought
I'd
about
say.
adding this one into mine.
yes,
I
this is
grew
my
up.
honorable mention because as a gamer,
Mhm.
they made a movie about playing a game, and because you're so good at it, you get to go to space. And for me, the game that I was playing back then was the original Shinobi. And if you played that game on Genesis, arcade, or Sega Master System,
Mhm.
you know how hard that game is. I beat
Mhm.
that game all of one time in my entire life. But because I saw this movie, that's
You're
what made me
trash.
play that game and beat it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be the best.
That
Yeah,
is
they're gonna recruit me to be a ninja. Yeah. I never got recruited to be a ninja, but
Yeah, no.
all because this movie showed me if you're good at video games, you just might be able to go do something cool. You laughing at me?
There are a lot of movies that use that trope too, where they solve they get to a specific level, or they beat a game, and then all of a sudden they get
Mhm.
recruited by the government or for
Mhm.
some top dude. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's been something that I'm not saying that this is the first movie to do it, but you've definitely seen how this influenced that kind of plot going forward.
Yes.
I mean, they're doing it with gamers these days with genetics.
This is
where,
this
you
is
know,
true.
unlocking DNA.
And drone fighting and drone
Mhm.
flying. Yeah, you know what I mean.
This is
Oh,
true. All right, here we go. I have to
Oh,
put this
yeah.
on as honorable mention as well. Sir, put your Lowrys down. Mr. Lowrys, put your Lowrys down. You don't
I didn't say anything except this is borderline fantasy. Oscar, please leave me alone.
Ooh,
Yeah.
borderline fantasy. So a people's fear of a nuclear bomb irradiating creatures to make them monsters of gigantic sizes. And that's how you feel about it. Yeah. Yeah. Really, Mr. Director? Is this what we're doing, Mr. Director? Yeah.
What have I done? What have I done?
Yeah, what
I
have you
gave
done?
you this. I gave you the solo camera.
Okay. All right.
Gentlemen,
Look, you got us in trouble with the host. This is your fault. You did this.
I didn't do
You
anything.
did this.
I like
Anyway,
Godzilla.
honorable mention: Gojira, the OG ones, not that silly American one with that Tyrannosaurus Rex in New York. That don't count.
I love a kaiju film. Moving on.
Moving on. Best of the worst. Right here. Right
Yep.
here.
Can I say something
Yep.
real quick? This
Yes.
kind of is this a video or is this a picture?
Oh, that's it. This is video right here.
Okay, I just
Oh,
want to say, as
give it.
someone who constantly complains about pictures and videos being small, what happened, fam?
Oh, what
Mm,
happened?
mm,
Oh, hold up,
mm,
hold up.
mm,
What happened?
mm,
I got
Oh
you.
my
mm,
goodness.
Let me show you.
Right.
So here's the poster. Hold up. I got you though. I got you.
Nah,
Though.
but the video is small.
The video
Oscar,
ain't small. Hold up,
Oscar
homie.
the Grouch.
Hold up. I got you. Hold up. You want the big one? Yeah, I give you the big one. Yeah. You want the big one? Yeah. Oh no, there's the big one. Oh no.
You know what? You're still trash because
Yeah, you just jealous. And this theme song just rocks. So we'll just listen to it and enjoy it. Is it even playing?
Sound muted. Right there. Click it. Boom.
I got a song. Oh,
Oh yeah.
Can I just say, like, for people who are scared of clowns, why? They're just people in makeup. Like
I mean,
fancy,
yes
thick
and
women in
no.
makeup.
It.
That's different. It was a whole celestial being and
But it was
killing.
still dressed as a clown, and a lot of
Yeah.
people got freaked out about that.
It was a spider.
And don't
Arachnophobia.
forget Ed Gain, another
This is true.
clown that was the serial killer.
Now
So,
that's different. But like the clown's not gonna kill you in front of
a
like everybody.
precedent has been set. Well, no, I think that happened in a James Bond film actually. Somebody
like
just as
that.
a clown kills somebody. The one
Maybe
at the circus
mime?
one, the one with Roger Moore. Maybe it was a mime.
Ooh.
Might have
was
been
a
a mime.
Might have been a mime.
It was a mime.
Which is clown adjacent, if we're being honest.
Clown adjacent.
Jason,
Now you're being
Wasn't clown.
clownist, okay? I'm sorry. Thank you for sharing your list.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Oscar,
You're
you were
welcome.
amazing. Thank you.
Are you ready, ma'am? Are you ready?
I honestly I don't know. I feel like this has gone wildly out of control.
I mean, it is what happens when the four of us get together. I'm sorry.
That's
I mostly
very
blame
true.
him and myself. More so Mayhem.
I'm
I'm sorry, Lowry Salt. Sorry.
Whatever, Oscar.
I'm just hoping that my name and at this point I'm not even going to say anyone else's, but I just hope my name stays the same because I've been trying to be. I feel like I've been trying to be like the mom here, like I'm the daycare provider, and I'm failing miserably.
You're fine, but somebody in a hat wants to be like, "Oh, this is how things are," but wants to put out trash, sanitational pics. You're Oscar the Grouch, fam. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I think he was a
Cat,
glue eater.
So
Was he a
anyway,
glue eater?
Let the lady talk. Let the lady talk.
My first pick I chose for several different reasons. One, it is a great movie on its own. I sincerely think that if anyone who is a fan of sci-fi decides to sit down and watch it, yes, the movie is from 1927, but if you watch it, you will see so many things that were influenced from this film. It's Metropolis. It's a German film. It's from 1927. And it gives us that futuristic, like dystopian society where you have the ultra rich and then the poverty stricken with really nothing in between. And, the rich son of the city council head meets this rebel girl, falls in love, and decides to help her, like, once he's realizing the disparity of the living conditions here. So it's something that you hear over and over and over and over the years. And one of the things that I loved about it is at the end of the film, when our heroes manage to kind of bridge the gap or start to bridge the gap between the ultra rich and the poverty stricken. It says the mediator between the head and the hands must be the heart. And I love that. Now, this movie was not well maintained, so it got chopped up, and there was a bunch of different versions came out. There was one that they actually used Freddie Mercury, Loverboy, and Adamant to do the soundtrack for, which I thought was super cool. But just to give you some of the influences that this film has had over the years, C-3PO was his design was inspired by the machine, the robot here in Metropolis. Queen's music video for Radio Gaga is inspired by it. Madonna's Express Yourself. Motorhead wrote a song called Metropolis. In 1996, DC Comics did Superman's Metropolis, and they literally took this story but replaced the names of the characters here with DC characters like Lex Luthor was Rotwang, who was an antagonist, and Superman, of course, was the protagonist freighter. So, and even like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, even Doctor Who did Monsters in Metropolis, where the Cybermen are heavily influenced by the design of these characters. You have a lot of Art Deco. This was 1920s, so this was Roaring Twenties that definitely influenced the fashion and things. But it's such an iconic, one of the earliest science fiction films that still tells a good story of oppression and overcoming and seeing how the other half lives and seeing how easily we are on the precipice of this classing when you think of like Brazil and Rio de Janeiro and that wall, and you have these ultra rich and then just tin sheds from there on and people living in abject poverty. We're already there in some aspects, but it shows us how close that we are and what it will take to kind of bridge that gap. So the message itself is timeless and beautiful. And that's why I picked it as my number one.
Amazing.
Thank
I
you.
cannot deny it.
Thank you very much. Next, these two are modern. I didn't want to stick. I don't want to hear it. I didn't want to stick with. I thought that people would automatically assume I would go for Star Wars and Star Trek, or even Dune. But Star Wars and Dune to me are more space opera than science fiction. So I took those off the table, and Star Trek was a little bit too on the nose with one of my other picks. So I decided to go with The Fifth Element. And the reason why is because this, again, is one of those iconic films that influences so many things around us. Baz Luhrmann, his films just hugely influence pop culture because he just seems to keep his finger right on the pulse of things. I love this story, how the fifth element is love. Thank you, Marcus, for agreeing with me. Very well acted. It's hilarious. You have Gary Oldman, who's amazing in everything that he does. Probably the best I've ever seen Mila Jovovich in a film. The music is iconic. The fashion, the just the scope and the visuals of the film.
Yes.
And also the technology is what I want. Something I can just put something to my face and it does my makeup for me. Hell yes. Put a plate in the microwave and you get a full ass rotisserie chicken dinner in like 30 seconds. Why is this not now? Not to mention flying cars and like where it's like the food trucks come to your window. I love it. So
the totalitarianism of the police force too,
right?
Because meat pops and whatnot.
You know what's crazy? I can't really think of a movie. This is probably political, but I can't really think of a movie that shows police not oppressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's like a documentary of sorts which shows both sides.
You don't want
to like sci-fi moves. Like, there's always that police force that's like, you know what? You jaywalked. You're going to jail,
Demolition
bro.
Demolition Man. They were very nice.
Yeah, Demolition, but they were very underpowered too.
And then technically the Demolition Man was
but that
more
that whole demerit system was a little bit ridiculous. And the three seashells pisses me off to this day.
He robbed the side of you know what? Whatever.
But I have to honestly say that's probably one of his best roles in Demolition Man.
Really?
He put his whole
the foot in. He put his whole foot in that.
He put his whole bleach blonde head into that. But back to this film, Chris Tucker.
Yes.
Great character.
Just let you know, the boss is wanting me to dress up as that for Halloween.
I endorse that 100%. Not to mention, I say Lilo Dallas Multipass and Chica good. Like, I can't even tell you how much I quote this film. It's ridiculous, but I love it. So that was one of my top 3. Next, we have Galaxy Quest.
Paul's hammer. I shall avenge you.
Oh, yes.
You have everything that we love about who did not wish that shit was real.
I'd watch it. I'd watch that show.
And like this was such a service to the fans. Like I know that this is very much for Trekkies, but it's not just Trekkies because there are these people they know the schematics of the ship. They know where everything is. They know which buttons do what and what buttons he was pressing on the panel to fly. So and to be called on to help save the world, to rescue an entire race, to be able to live that in reality is every sci-fi fan's dream. Like we all want it to be real. Mia. We all want this to be real. And this was a chance for us to relive that. And there's so much joy and so well acted. The characters are hilarious and perfect and flawed. And Sigourney Weaver, I have one job. It's stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway. One of the greatest sci-fi films to me for all of those reasons, and why I didn't pick Star Trek because this was an homage. It's very, very Trekish. But we all wanted to be that kid.
We did.
And now we are going to my best worst, which started off as just 1, but then it ended up being 3. 2 of them are musicals. So let's Let's swing on by those.
Did you not get on me for more than one, and you have 3?
Well, I only had one, but then
But
as
you
we were
have
talking,
3.
now I have honorable mentions.
Oh, honorable no way.
These are honorable. So this I actually only recently found out about because I listened to a podcast called How Did This Get Made? And they did an episode on this. In the first minute of the episode, them being so in love with this film, saying that they had downloaded the soundtrack, made me stop listening to the podcast, find the movie, which was on Tubi. I think it was Tubi or Pluto, one of those two. I think it was Tubi. Watch it and then go back and listen to the podcast because I wanted to like be in on this joyous occasion with them. It is so 80s. It was a movie that was made and was so short that they decided to put musical numbers in it as an afterthought. So none of the dialogue, none of the thing. There's like 4 different storylines going on at once. None of them have a resolution. The songs have nothing to do with any of the scenes whatsoever. There even is a video at the very beginning by Jermaine Jackson, which that song slaps. I'm not even gonna the song slaps. So and Pia Zadora, and I don't remember this guy's names, but those cheekbones could cut glass, I think. Pia Zadora, Voyage of the Rock Aliens. I can't even tell you what the plot is. It doesn't matter. It's fun to watch, but it is definitely not a good movie. But it is fun to watch. So that was my original best worst recommendation. Then we have next Velocipaster. I've been talking about this movie to you guys a bunch.
You have.
This is on Netflix. Excuse me. Prime. It's free with Prime, and it's basically what you think it is: a pastor that becomes a velociraptor because of this Chinese amulet. And I think it kind of rides that science fiction and fantasy line there a little bit, but it's still definitely
Big Trouble Little China.
Yeah, it's very low budget, but
Really?
consciously low budget. But when you see that velociraptor costume and and the special effects in this film, I really would love for you guys to watch it and just circle back to me once you've had a few minutes to cool down, and then let me know what your viewing experience was after this. And then finally, Reggie, thank you so much, because this actually, we were talking about this right before we started the show, because we were talking about Jeff Goldblum, and that's what made me think of my final choice. A movie also from the 80s that
The Fly?
No, Reggie, do you have it?
You wanted me to put that up?
Yes.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
The Fly Part 2.
No.
Jurassic Park.
No.
I'm gonna mute all of you.
Movie, so
it's a musical and it's a movie, and it stars Gina Davis, Julie Brown, not downtown Julie Brown, but the other Julie Brown.
Don't make that mistake. I made that mistake.
Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Jeff Goldblum.
The Fly, the musical.
No.
Gotcha.
No.
Absolutely not. It is a film called Reggie. Are you getting it?
I'm getting. I gotta get it to the right spot.
So basically, these 3, Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans are aliens on a spaceship, and they crash land into Gina Davis's pool.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Marcus, good job, Marcus.
Well done, Marcus Tucker. And I just noticed that is in, I think, was that German at the bottom? Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is the movie poster that I found.
No, that's Dutch.
What?
That is Dutch.
Is it Dutch? It's
is
Dutch.
Wow.
So basically the 3 aliens crash land on Earth. She's a nail technician that works at a salon. So of course she brings them to the salon to shave them, to make them look more human. And then we get them as Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Jeff Goldblum. And let me tell you, Jeff Goldblum looks fine as hell, but it is a musical, and it's got really ridiculous, but it's a romance, and it's science fiction because they're aliens.
There's a ship.
And there's a ship that looks like a big pool toy in her pool.
Thank you very much for this.
Yes.
Those are
was
great.
amazing.
And
Love it.
those are my best of the worst, but honestly, I am unashamedly loving
Why do
all
we
of them.
keep coming back to Serenity?
We keep coming back to Serenity because
Cool.
Mia had some choices as
Yes.
well that Reggie's
Oh.
going to
I'd
go over.
like us to
Okay.
go over her
So, boss
best.
ladies,
This
go.
Is that a
Number one.
sci-fi? This looks like a vampire movie, like a vampire.
This
killing movie.
is Serenity is the film made for TV, or was it? Was it released in the theaters?
Theaters,
And
yeah.
then
It was a
theaters.
theater release.
Mhm.
Serenity was like the wrap up film for Firefly,
Mhm.
Yes.
the
'Cause
television
Firefly was
series
supposed to
Firefly.
keep going. It got canceled, and they're like, "We've got all this stuff that we've already filmed." They turned it into a movie.
I can see why. It looks like it looks like it's cancelable.
And it probably has one of those scenes that are very much like Full Metal Alchemist, where anyone mentions it, people get upset.
I
Yeah.
love mentioning it. I
So
mentioned
for Full Metal Alchemist, it's I forget her name and the dog.
yes. Ed
I don't understand why they get upset.
And for
Yes.
Serenity, it's
I'm
our
a
man
leaf
Wash.
Wash.
See how I saw her. Stab. So good.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Is that what
Yes,
your top? Is that what your top pick?
That was her top
That's
pick.
one of her top 3.
Okay.
Yes. And then
The Fly
Ooh,
Redemption.
Lord.
no redemption. Wrong list.
Redemption.
Yes, this is a fly. She loves Jeff Goldblum. I don't care. She loves Goldblum the way you love Goldblum. She loves the way he
It was this
looking,
conversation, the
acting.
conversation about this film that made me remember Earth Girls Are Easy.
Nice.
So yes, this is why it's on there. And then this one, she's gonna have to jump on here and explain this one because I've never seen it, but she says it's really good.
Is that Kirsten Dunst?
Yes, it is.
But she says that it is good and that people need to watch it because it's underrated and not well known. So I'll probably
It did well critically, but not box office wise. I think it was a little bit too. They didn't do a good job explaining what the movie was in the trailers and stuff. So I think people were just confused and just didn't watch it. I was one of them. But it's like the moon is crashing into the earth.
Okay, so it was that movie, Sucker Punch. So it was like Sucker Punch, where it showed all the action scenes. And everyone's like, "Oh, this is what the movie's about," and then it's about girls in an orphanage.
Same
Like that.
Well, I think it's supposed to like in this film, like literally the moon is coming towards the earth and it's going to crash and everyone's going to die, and it's focusing on this one woman's story, but it also seems like it's like a parallel to her dealing with some kind of depression, and the moon crashing into the earth is just basically a metaphor for that. Like I said, it wasn't like explained super well, but it's supposed to be very beautiful, and like I said, critically it did really well, but people just didn't go out to see it. I think there was just a lot of stuff going on at that time that it didn't get the attention that maybe it should have
because
reserved.
if we ever get invited to like review a movie, they're gonna ask us not to say anything but her. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, put a nice spin on this."
Yes. We're like, we like
are your entourage.
But it has
energy, but we want her to talk.
the people who are in this film all normally choose good films, like well-written films, things that they can really sink their teeth into. So you have Kirsten Dunst. I don't know Charlotte Gainsbourg, but Alexander Skarsgård and Kiefer Sutherland. Usually, if they're putting themselves into something, especially at this time in their careers where they kind of can pick what they do, that it's got to be something that hooked them in. It's not necessarily for the paycheck. But like I said, critically, it did really well. I think it actually won something at one of the film festivals, maybe several. I know one for sure, but it just didn't translate well to the box office, and I think that was a failing on how they did the trailer, because I watched it and it did not rope me into wanting to watch it. It felt like The English Patient, like it was going to be like this long boring kind of thing, and I had no interest in that.
Okay,
but with Mia's endorsement, I would be willing to check it out.
Okay,
and here we go. Best of the worst, Ghosts of Mars. And she said that this being a John Carpenter movie and it being as bad as it is,
yeah.
He's like, yeah.
John Carpenter at one point had like a lock on us from horror movies to just anything. And I remember seeing this and I was just like, what did I watch? It was, you know what, Mia? You are invited to the cookout. Leave Reggie, but
She can't leave me. We're a
Yes, she
package
can.
deal. Package deal. Can't have one without the other.
That's fine. I'll send food to you.
She'll send me home with a plate.
You know,
Yeah, okay. I just
horrible potato salad.
Now I'm gonna be
Whoa,
like,
don't you put raisins in that. I come get you. Don't you do that to me.
like in the Jeffersons when I forgot the name of the housekeeper. Was it Florence? She's
Yes,
like, I kept something warm for you. He's like, really? What's that? She said, ice cream. So that's what.
Okay, next one. I want to see the next one.
That was it?
That's all she got.
Okay. We have finally made it through all of our picks. If you've made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much for sticking with us. We hope that you found some of it enlightening, but all of it entertaining, and that you come back and visit us again next week. Thank you very much to Nez, Lowry's the hater, Laurie Salt, Oscar the Great, for joining me for another episode of Hero Geekix Unlimited's 4-letter nerd. Have a wonderful night. Peace, love, and sarcasm.
Well, good night,
everyone.
I will see you on
Season your food with Laurie's.
See me.
Remember,
See me when you see me, sir.